Welcome. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today. My name is Raju. I'm from EHP, which is Enhancing Human Potential. We are a training organization, and I'm here today with my partner, who is the Director of Services based out of Dubai, looking after UAE, looking after Africa and the Caribbean islands. So let me very quickly pass it over to Liesa and let you say a few words before we invite our valuable guest.
Hi, Raj.
Hi.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy. Thank you, Dr. Sheen, for being with us. Gurrib, sorry. Yes, I'm over, I should say, the Middle East, Africa, and the Caribbean. We have expanded, and we're very happy to have this lovely guest with us. And we're going to talk today about what? We'll let you know.
It's going to be a casual conversation. It's more about, I guess, dealing with people, dealing with services. You've had so much experience, dealing with people. So what sort of challenges you've seen, what sort of challenges, what we handle when we're dealing with business, because we do a lot of training for corporates, but corporates still boils down to individual people. And you being a customer, you going out for services in different areas, so you have your experiences which you can share. So I think it's going to be more of a let's share some ideas, share some experiences. So would you like to do the honors?
I would actually like to start with asking you about yourself. Tell us a little about you. And I know you're here for in Dubai. I think it's 2 to 3 years almost. Absolutely phenomenal woman. One of the top women in Dubai last year, I know, one of the top influential women, and one of the hosts of the just recently Emirates Women's Day. So it was amazing. By the way, you're a very positive figure for the community. So we're very happy to have you on the program. Tell us a little bit about you, about yourself, because you have such a vast knowledge and history, and I could keep running the credits, but I prefer for you to tell us. I know you're Oxford and Cambridge graduate, so tell us about you. I'm going to say Dr. Sheen because I love saying, my mom is in medicine and she always says, you must give everyone their credit. So I have a friend that's a dentist, so I still call her Dr. Jocelyn. So I'm saying Dr. Sheen, since we're on friendly basis. You earned that doctor on your title, so we're going to use it. Okay.
Well, thank you both of you for having me. I'm super excited to be here, and I hope I get to ask a few questions too, because both of you have such a wealth of wisdom. I would love to learn from you. So yes, Sheen, originally from Mauritius, born and brought up, island girl, just like you, Liesa.
Yes.
And at 18, I left the island behind, went to the UK, went to Oxford, did material science there, initially wanted to become an engineer. After that, decided maybe not, and then went to Cambridge, did a PhD in spinal research. At that point, I was very interested in medical research, and I was trying to help improve the diagnosis of back pain. Loved it, really enjoyed my PhD, but also realized that academia is not really the career that I see for myself. It's a little bit slow and not very people-centric. It's very isolating, if anything.
Knowing you'd be bored.
I was. And after that, decided, okay, classic thing of selling out to the corporate world. So I went into business consulting, and that's what brought me to Dubai. Almost 3 years ago now, came to Dubai as a business consultant with Oliver Wyman. Loved the job, worked on really cool projects for a whole year. But during that time, I had started my content creation journey. Initially started the podcast back in the UK. The idea came about, which, we can explore that later, but I had some really cool friends at university. I had a friend who dropped out of uni to become an astronaut.
Oh, wow.
I had a friend who dropped out of medicine to win a gold medal at the Olympics for the UK in rowing. Yeah, so I was like, that's so cool. And especially for me, someone who grew up on an island, not knowing any other careers than the traditional ones, seeing that people were doing really incredible stuff, I thought, you know what? When I speak to them, I learn so so much, and that's very valuable for my own career progression. I was like, what about others who don't necessarily have the same exposure as I do? So I thought, let me create that platform where I bring these people on for them to share their stories. That's how the podcast was born.
Amazing.
Right after COVID.
Amazing.
And the reception was really nice, very happy with it. But then I started working in the corporate world where I was working 18 hours a day. So my creativity was really being juiced out. So I thought, okay, can't really do that for very long. Eventually, I left that behind to try the startup world. So I joined an AI tech startup in TIFC as the COO. And during that time, I restarted the podcast. And this is how it was born in Dubai. And after 2 years, we're now the biggest podcast for women in the region, which is incredible, because I didn't expect it. But you know how this region is so supportive of women. Everyone wants to hear everyone's stories. So it was incredible. And then this year in January, it became a point where now it is enough for it to be my main thing. So I quit my full-time employment. And I remember speaking to you, Liesa, at the time. It was so very daunting to do that, but left the job. Now I have 3 main hats that I wear. The first one is the podcast. The second one, I teach part-time at university. I teach the future of tech.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. And then the third thing I do is I started a company last year with a friend of mine called the Professional Network, where we're bringing women together to network and upskill.
I know it well.
Liesa was one of our speakers at one of our events.
I know it well. And if I can just add, this is another thing we say when you do your purpose. It's your purpose and it's your passion, so you enjoy it and you can make money at it. And this is the most important thing. And you're helping women and many people. So I'm waiting to be on your podcast, by the way.
Which you will be on the next season.
Backed up seasons, backed up episodes. So she told me, okay, season 50 I'll be on, I think.
Probably 49.
Well, I can't think of a better thing to do. I mean, it's following your passion and making money from it.
Right.
I mean, you can't be thinking of anything better than that. So it's amazing. So in terms of all these changes that you've gone through, what do you think would have been some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Honestly, for me, the biggest challenge has been the change in mindset. Because, growing up, you learn that, first of all, there's the scarcity mindset of we need to compete. There's not enough jobs for everybody. There's not enough money for everybody. And then suddenly you find yourself in a race that you never wanted to win anyway.
Yeah.
So
we spoke about this before. Yeah.
Which we did. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you're asking yourself, why am I competing for this? I don't even care about this medal that's at the end of this race. So that change in mindset was very important. And also recognizing that there's so much abundance in everything and anything. Mm-hmm. Whatever is meant for you is there for you to take. So that was very pivotal, especially for me. The main fear was, okay, what if I'm not living up to my potential? What will people say? I went to Oxford and Cambridge to become an influencer, which I have heard many times around. Mm-hmm. But what they don't understand is all of that was part of making me into who I am, into opening me to that world, into bringing these people into my lives. And I think that for me, it makes sense now. But while going through it, and especially I think it's Steve Jobs that said that you can only make sense of your life when you look at it from behind and you look and you're like, oh, it made sense that I had to have this journey to connect the dots.
Yes.
But while you're going through it, you don't know. It doesn't make sense.
It's agony. Yeah.
It's agony. So is that trying to convince yourself that just trust the process, let's see what happens. Surrender. And life is not happening to you, it's not happening for you. So.
True. But at the same time, you need to be, yes, you have to surrender yourself, but at the same time, you have to enjoy every step that you're moving forward.
100%.
So as long as you're enjoying every movement, every step that you are taking, that's where your focus should be. It shouldn't be about, not always about how am I doing? And you will find all kinds of people. There will be people that are, supportive. There will be people who just always trying to pull us down. That's in everyone's life, and especially when you're moving forward with a passion, and people kind of look at you with these quizzical eyes and go like, "Why would you be passionate about that?" My passion is people. I joined the hotel industry for one reason only, because I will get to meet people. So that's the reason I joined hotels. So I joined hotels. I was working for the Hilton for about 9 years. And I was very lucky. I was approached by a training company CEO who came to me and said, how would you like to move into the training business? And I'm like, I have no clue what that business is about. He said, but why are you in the hotel business? I said, because I love meeting people. He said, well, you will meet a lot of people. And you will actually help people grow. And I thought, ooh, that sounds interesting. So just meeting people is great, but you actually help people grow. And I thought, I don't mind trying it out. And I was young, so hey, at that time, you can take risks. So we did. I joined them, and honestly, he gave me a 3-month period to kind of decide what I wanted to do. Believe it or not, day 3, I went to him and I said, I don't need 3 months. This is amazing. Because the sense of satisfaction that I saw from some of the other trainers that were involved was like, wow, this is what I want. It's not just about meeting people, it's about, seeing them grow, seeing them develop, seeing their achievements, because it makes you feel good. So that's the thing. And I'm sure you've come across a lot of that happening around you as well. So when we talk about, because my love and passion is people, what would you say about dealing with people? How does that come into play when you're talking about your businesses? And you said 3 areas, right?
It's a big question. We have time.
It's a big question because I deal with different sorts of people, right? So when I'm teaching, I'm dealing with students, which is a very, very different relationship. Well, as a content creator, I now have fans, right? Which is very different relationship. Yes. And then you deal with sponsors who, again, is a very different, they're like your clients. Yeah. It's a very different relationship as well. And as a business owner, you deal with all the things that come with that. Having a team, managing a team, dealing with your external clients, dealing with even a co-founder.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So all of that are relationships around me and the people that I deal with. But for me, I feel like over time, what I've realized is there's only really one thing that makes all of these interactions easy, and it's open and honest communication.
True.
Yes.
I think once you open communication and you're listening to what people around you are saying, it makes a huge difference. Sure. All the problems go away.
Yes, it's true.
They do.
Actually, if I might add to that, what you said about listening.
Yeah.
In our courses or master classes, when we speak with companies, one of the things we always speak about is listen to not reply, but listen to understand. A lot of people are ready with the answer, and they just need to stop, listen to what the person's saying. And this happens in all instances. You could be in a hotel, because we're from that business, and they go to the front desk, you're the receptionist, said, hi, yeah, it's over there. No, that's not what I was asking you.
Yeah.
It happens to me a lot here. Everywhere, not just Dubai, but that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking, listen to what I'm saying. So I kind of get a little aggravated because we teach this, and there's so many people that are ready with the answer without you just listening to understand the client. Like you just said, you have to listen to understand.
And a lot of times you listen with your own prejudice, your own understanding of things, and you're automatically on the defensive because that person might not be coming at you from the same place you think they're coming.
Exactly.
And that's when we're always like, oh no, combative, and just like waltz up immediately.
Very true.
She's so on our courses. We speak about that, combative expressions.
Combative listening, there's passive listening, there's active listening, there's levels of it. But what you said about different perspectives, that actually is so true, because just because I'm saying something doesn't mean I'm trying to attack you.
No.
And you will find one of the key elements of communication is intent and the result. So my intention might have been good, but you misunderstood it, or I wasn't clear enough. Whoever's fault it was, but you took it wrong. And I'm going like, no, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean it that way. And that's intent and effect that we talk about in our training programs. The service aspect that Liesa mentioned earlier, interesting thing, you check into a hotel, you come back down to front desk and you tell them, listen, I really don't like my room. And they go, oh, no problem, sir, we'll change your room. And I'm going like, do you even know what I don't like about
What did I not like? Yeah.
Because then they send you to they send you a new room.
Give them the example of you back then with the gentleman that came from...
And then they'll give you another room, and I'm going like, but this is
It's the same
exactly
thing.
Yeah.
right? So this is back in my early Hilton days. And one guest checked in late at night. He was very tired, long flight. He said, listen, I've had a long flight. I just need a nice, comfortable room. Give me one of your better rooms. I said, no problem. Now, Hilton in Hong Kong, I live in Hong Kong. I've been there for 60 years, so I speak Cantonese. But because Hilton is a very cosmopolitan, so you've got buildings straight up. There's hardly any greenery and space. Space is limitations there, right? So I gave him one of our so-called harbor view rooms because hey, he wanted a better type room, so I gave him that. Dumb myself because I should have asked. I didn't ask any questions. I gave him that. He came down and he was so furious. He said, I asked you for a simple thing. I said, give me a nice room. This is what you give me? And I was scratching my head. I'm going, wait, hold on. I gave him one of our best type of rooms, It wasn't a suite, but it was one of the better rooms because we had 3 classifications for our rooms. One was the peak view, which faced the mountains. So all you got was mountains and greenery. The other one was facing the city, which is nothing exciting. And then the other one, which was facing the harbor. Now, unfortunately, because of the space limitation, the harbor you get in a Hong Kong hotel room is not necessarily the full span of harbor.
Right.
You get little
Between the
pieces of
buildings.
harbor.
In between, yeah.
But that was our better rooms, harbor
Yeah.
view room, so I gave him that. And he was... So this time I thought, okay, don't jump to it. Just ask, I'm sorry, sir, what exactly did you not like about the room? So I can try and get you something that matches. And he said, I live in San Diego. All I look at is water. And you've given me a harbor view room. And that also a harbor view room. This is literally how he said it. A harbor view room. And I'm going, I'm so sorry, my fault. I gave him our peak view room.
Yeah.
He came back down. He didn't even go to sleep and come next morning. He came back down
Immediately.
and he said,
Thank you.
I love the room. I'm
To see
so
mountains.
happy.
Yeah.
So it's just that we jumped to conclusions. We kind of assume things because I thought harbor view room is the best. So he must like a harbor view.
Exactly. You
And
operated from your understanding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when we're providing service, it's always about what the other person wants,
100%.
right? I mean, we've had so many different examples ourselves, but when we come across customers, when we do training in our training sessions, service training is just one of them. We talk about sales training. We talk about leadership. Leadership, I like what you said about my students that you teach are different.
Yeah.
I call them, all these are different breed of animals, basically.
Yes.
Right? You have students that are one type.
Yeah.
Then you have your customers, and then you have your sponsors. Then you have your partners. Partners.
Yeah, I know.
Different breed.
Tell me about it. Oh.
We're okay together.
We're okay.
understand
We're in
this.
sync, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes it a little easier.
We
definitely.
actually understand each other's communication style. And I think, as we mentioned today, because we did a training today, I think as you get older too in age, but you grow and you evolve. So you learn to let a lot of things go that maybe you wouldn't let go before. And you learn to, do I need to be right or do I want peace?
You attach too much importance to small things.
Yes. What is the book? Don't sweat the small stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I tell a lot of people to read that. It's the same thing. I don't want to get into. We'll talk about that in yours, but relationships. We do a lot of role play, and a lot of people brought in to us because we had some people from the last time from the company we're working with, and they said, I need to tell you. Your communication, the program that you did, it helped me so much in my relationship at home with my wife because now I understand her communication style, and we actually tell you how to deal with if you're this how to deal with this kind of if you're this. So he said, I'm using it. And he said, it's changed my whole life at home. That he said, I don't know how to thank you guys.
Yeah.
But it's not that we teach just for work, we teach for life.
Yeah.
So when we speak the first few days, and I tell them, even in the Caribbean, and they look at you, because we have Generation Zs also, and we look at them and we tell them, this is what you're going to learn today, because they come with their paper and pen and like, what is the company sending me to do? And then I said, this is for your life. You will learn how to communicate with your family, your friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and then they start to straighten up in their seat, and they're like,
more interested.
Not just your job, because it's not hard skills we're teaching.
No.
We're teaching soft skills, which is you can use for
life.
the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the key element, because if you're learning something and it's going to help you in many spheres of your life, work is just one element of it. Yeah, although we do spend a lot of time at work, but work, and then you have your friends, your social life, and you have your family. I know people talk about, work-life balance. Nowadays, I mean, how many people do actually have a balance, and that's the thing. Entrepreneurs are the ones with the least amount of balance.
What balance?
What balance?
We talk about it all the time.
Exactly.
We've been trying to have a lunch or a dinner together for months.
Impossible.
I've had a client who's told me, let's get on a Zoom call while you're in Dubai, because the time difference is less. He's in India.
Yeah.
So he said the time difference is less than when you're in Hong Kong. And I said, great, I'm going to be there for 10 days. Believe it or not, 10 days we haven't been able to line up a Zoom call.
I'm not surprised.
No, and it's like my timing, or he's in a meeting, or his timing, or I'm in training program. So, wow, and then, but I'm happy to do the call even at 11 p.m. at night. But then it's too late for him.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, and he's the client. So I'm going like, no, you tell me what time you want. Except the time I'm in class, because that I just can't.
Impossible,
right?
Yeah.
Any of my personal time, I'm happy to do it. But that's what happens. Entrepreneurs, their work-life balance really is.
And then
shot
when
to
you do
pieces.
more than one thing, like you, like me, like him, we do. The thing is, I even check the time. I get home last night at 10:30, 11, and I'm back up at 7 because we have to train. I love it, so I don't feel tired.
Exactly.
But
You don't feel drained.
no, you don't, because
Your
you enjoy
body's
what you're
tired.
doing.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you would tell people in your experiences? Because there are a lot of people that do listen to us about the change or the shift. Because I think a lot of people go through that 9-to-5 job and they're afraid to take the shift or afraid to jump. What would be your advice to someone that's watching us today?
I think my main thing I would say is do it scared. Like, I was scared as well. Nobody does it from a place of, okay, I am sure of it now and I will make the move.
Yeah.
No one does it that way, because otherwise everybody would be quitting. Everybody would be doing what they want and following their passion. It's scary. I'm not going to lie. I went through it. I went through it.
Very
But what you can do is make sure that you've stacked up the things in your favor, right? So whether it is making sure you have enough of an emergency fund, making sure, for example, for me, I knew that I have my degrees, I have my work experience. I can try it out. If it doesn't work, I can always find another job, And I saw this reel the other day where the guy was saying, I'm going to save you 10 years of therapy. I'll just give me 10 minutes. And he said that one thing we need to do is make a list of what are you scared about the most about this change, okay? What's the one thing that is your biggest fear is going to go wrong if you make that change? And then write in details that worst case scenario and look at it. It's not that bad. It's just we make it bigger in our head, but if you put pen to paper, you realize that I can actually manage this even if the worst case scenario happens. And even if you can't right now, think about how you could mitigate that worst case scenario and then make the jump. And I think it's just doing it scared. And honestly, even if it doesn't happen exactly the way you want, something is meant to come out of this, because at the end of the day, as long as you're giving it your best, you're trying your best, something has to come out of it. It will never be a waste of time.
Excellent.
Exactly. That's what I always say. You can't be afraid to jump, because you can just probably fly. And one thing that came out at your event, you and Laura's event the other day, was that all the women said, which was amazing, everyone said the same thing. They were all crushed, and that helped build the resistance and the backbone for them to get to the next level. And my phrase is always, the universe doesn't crush grapes if they don't get good wine, or crush olives and get good olive oil. So I said, when you're crushed, actually be happy, because it's bringing you to the next level of where you need to be.
True.
Yeah.
And you crush charcoal to get diamond.
I was just going to say that. Thank you.
Excellent.
I always say that carbon becomes a diamond.
Exactly. Diamonds are not born from just living their best lives.
Right. They're under
They come from pressure.
Yes.
In fact, the portion on change that you mentioned, one of the pieces of advice that I usually like to mention is that, you know what, change is going to happen. That's the only one guarantee in life we have. Change is always going to happen. So you either take initiative and make the change based on your terms, or get forced into change. So if you get forced into change, you're probably going to grumble and, all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're making that change, you made the decision. You're going to be more passionate. You're going to be more, energized with it. It makes that transition a little more easier. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, you still have those fears and
100%.
those obstacles. They'll always be there. But you made the change. That's the big difference.
Yeah. I always say the universe gives you whispers.
Yeah.
And then if you don't listen to the whispers, you get clubbed on the head, because you're not going with the flow of what came to you, because people are afraid. I know people that go in at 9:02 and they're leaving at 4:59, and they've been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could never. I don't think ever in my life. But then it comes from your upbringing too. And I saw my parents. My mom was always, she was not just working at the hospital, she was selling jewelry back then. And then they had these beautiful tablecloths from someone. She was selling that at the same time. And because we were building homes in the Caribbean, you can't just buy, you have to build. And I always knew her, I don't want to say the word hustling, but go-getter, because I don't like to use those type of words. And so I'm like that. My brothers are like that. We do 10 things at one time, but we enjoy what we're doing, and with a passion.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of people that are just sitting, and I actually feel bad for them. I'm like, get up and get moving. Let's go. Take action. Take your intention and go with it.
Yeah.
And as Raj says, we play, I don't want to give away too much of our training, but we do a change exercise. People love it. We did it today with corporate people.
Yeah.
People love it, but the initial steps of that game is like, no.
So much resistance,
We
right?
can't do this. No, it's
That's
not
the point
possible.
of why we do it. Yeah, that's the point.
And then at the end, they go like, yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing that, I know this is a bit cliche. Nothing is really impossible if you put your mind and heart to it.
I agree.
But at least, I wouldn't say it's not impossible. But yes, it is difficult. I understand that. It just makes things easier if you are focused on it and you want to, do it. So it does help.
And just today I posted a new video which is about the self-fulfilling prophecy. So what they say is like, if a teacher believes in a student's ability of doing well, the teacher pushes that student more,
Yes.
which will lead to actually the student performing better.
Yes.
But if the teacher has already identified a student as someone who's not going to do well, they don't put in any effort, that student also starts to believe they can't do that well.
Yes.
Therefore, they won't do that well.
Exactly.
So it's the same in our everyday life. The more you
So
believe in
true.
something, you will put in more effort to
Exactly.
actually make it
So
happen.
true. So
Exactly.
I can say my story about Thomas Edison. I think you know this. I don't know if you know the story. So when he was a young boy, he had some problems, autistic or whatever. And as you know, Thomas Edison invented many things, not just the light bulb. So he came home with a note, and it's a true story actually. And he gave it to his mom, and she read it. And he's looking at her, and it said, "Dear Miss Edison, your son seems to have many issues and many difficulties. We just don't know what to do with him. We can't teach him. It's a lost case. He needs to stay home, and you need to take care of him." So he's waiting to hear what the letter says. Now, she turns and she reads it. What a clever mom. She says, what does it say? He says, "Your son Thomas is brilliant. He's way too smart for us. You need to keep him home and teach him." Now, do you think if she said to him, which I'm from the Caribbean, and any parent would say, "What did you do wrong? What did you, what's the problem?" If she would have did that, do you think he would have invented all those things?
No, she would have been crushed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his mind, because those years, 0 to 7, is your foundation of what, and a lot of people don't realize that, parents don't realize that. What you say, affects the children so much. I will give you just one example. Here in the traffic, our traffic in Dubai is horrendous, especially when school starts again. And there was a guy who was going into a building in the marina. He literally, I was driving right in, came around me, cut me off, and went through the building. So it's like, you were only like a few feet. I was going in.
Yeah.
So he didn't believe he'd see me at the elevator. So, I handled it very well. So I said, hello. They got on the elevator, and I could see he was like, because he thought I'd scream, because that's the immediate reaction people would get. So I said hi to him, hi to his wife. I said, aren't you so cute, to the little child? And I said, sir, why did you do that? And he starts screaming. And I look at the wife, and I look at him, and she's behind him. And I said, do you want to teach that rage to your child like that? I said, you don't want to do that, right? Because you just taught him to cut people off. And the wife was behind, and she did this to me. And I said, now you have and then I still bent down to the child. I said, you have a good night. Because I wasn't angry, but I wanted to show him this is the way it should be.